Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. We begin with our recitation. Gaudi Mahalla Panjama. Har 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 Aradhiae, Sant Sang Har Man Vasai, Param Moh Pau Sadhiae, Arahau. वेद पुराण सिमरत पणे सब ऊंच विचार विराजत जन सुने सगल स्थान पै पीत चीन राम सेवक पै रहत कीन लख 84 जोन फिरै गोविंद लोक नहीं जन्म मरै बल बुद्ध सियानप हउ में रही हर साध शरण नानक गही बल बुद्ध सियाणप हउ में रही हर साध शरण नानक गही. This is an invitation from the fifth Nanak, Guru Arjan. Come, he says, let us adore, let us worship, and let us court the Har Self, who is the Master and the Supreme Being. Har 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 Aradhiae. Sant Sang Har Man Vasai. Param Moh Pau Sadhiae. With the guidance of the Sant Enlightener, Sant Sang, all self-doubt and fear are conquered, and the Har Self is realized in the mind, Har Manavasai. So he's showing us the way to banish existential fear, self-doubt, and attachment. How do we do it? Join in a congregation of devotees that is brought together by common purpose, a sangat. In such a gathering, the Sant Gur is mystically present as a guide and mentor. In Sikhi, spiritual learning and growth is not simply a lone activity, it's not a private affair. Of course, there is solo practice, but it has to be quickened in collective learning. And so the Guru guides the individuals in this congregation to their indwelling self. And he leaves little doubt that the path of loving devotion to the self is the supreme way. He cites traditional Hindu religious literature, the 4 Vedas, the 18 Puranas, and the 27 Smritis to make his point. And he makes his point thus. Ved Puran Simrat Pane. The Vedas, the Purans, and the Smritis have all declared, Sab Uch Birajat Jan Sune. It is heard that the devotee of the self is the most exalted of all. And then he comes to the crux of the matter, which is Sagal Asthan Pay Beet Cheen. Understand this, that verily or certainly all hearts are filled with fear. Sagal Asthan Pay Beet Cheen. But Ram Sevak Pay Rahat Keen, the servant of the Supreme Self, Ram here, is freed from fear. So existential fear is the root of our problems. And the only way out is to develop an intimacy with the Supreme Being that is reflected within as our indwelling self. Otherwise, what happens is, Lakh 84 Jon Firai, the cycles of endless incarnations continue. But Gobind Lok Nahi Janam Marai, the devotees of Gobind are freed from the illusion of birth and death. Because the cycles of coming and going, the pain and the fear of this cycle endures only for Har consciousness, which is afraid of its own dissolution. Because what dies is the illusory Har. Those who live in Har consciousness, that is to say, those who have transcended their Har, for them birth and death appears to be a mere illusion. Because nothing is born and nothing dies. The Eternal One is forever. Because Har is the illusion that underlies our fears, our doubts, and our attachments, Nanak says, Bal Buddh Syanap Har Rahi. I have laid aside the armor and strength of Har. Har Sad Saran Nanak Gahi. I have found refuge at the feet of the perfected one, the Sad. So let's join in with Guru Arjan in discovering our inner self and ridding ourselves of the existential fear that otherwise plagues our minds. On that note, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.